Right. Good morning, guys. Oh, wow. Look at all the people coming in. This is great. All right. Um, I'm going to go ahead and right now do this before I forget. I'm going to load some things in the chat room that I think that, or I don't think, I know they're going to go along with our discussion today. So you're going to see all that in here. If you're on a mobile device, don't worry about that. We'll make sure that you get that material. Okay. We'll email it out to you. It's just send Conversion Monster an email. We'll make sure that they get that out to you. So don't sweat it if you don't have it. I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need. So, wow. Well, thank you again for another Conversion Monster webinar. For those of you who don't know me, if you're new to this call, my name is Bradley Baldwin. I am the director of coaching at a company called Eisenhower Real Estate Coaching and Consulting. TheRealEstateTrainer.com is our website if you'd like to go check that out. I want to let you know right now, I have nothing to sell you at all. This is a value add that Conversion Monster does for their clients. Okay. Sometimes it's people that are outside of Conversion Monster that are inside of Conversion Monster want to kind of see this call as well. It's a coaching call just for you. We've been working with Conversion Monster for a long time. And I think it's a great call to get on every Thursday. You basically get a free coaching call. Because we talk a lot of different things. There's like, well, lead conversion is just so little. I mean, how much can you talk about lead conversion and lead generation? I mean, give me a break, right? But we do talk about it a lot. I mean, it is Conversion Monster. We do talk about leads, but we talk about a lot of things: recruiting, profitability, listings, buyers, objection handlers, how to build scoreboards, how to lead. So whether you're a team leader, you're a broker, owner, a solo agent, a new agent, a member of a team, there's something always on these calls for you guys. Okay. And if you ever have any questions, go ahead and send me a direct message or get old Conversion Monster. They'll help you out. So let's jump into our material today. So there's a lot to these calls, right? We put a lot of effort in these calls. And, when we started this about 2 years ago, we just kind of shotgunned it and just kind of did kind of whatever we did, and now I really like these series because I think if you follow these series, you can kind of have a step-by-step play on a certain topics, right? We keep all of them recorded. So if you need to go back and look at some of the other ones that we did, feel free to do that. But we're talking right now about business planning and forecasting for 2024. We've done a lot of work up to this point. Today, I'm going to show you a tool that I use in my own personal business. I still run a real estate team in Kansas City. I live in Dallas, so it's an expansion team. I have over 250 investment properties. I have a mortgage company, a title company, insurance company. I also do coaching. I have a lot of different hands in my cookie jars, and I use this tool for each one of those companies, right? And I also use it for my personal journeys as well. So the things that I want to accomplish in my own personal life outside of business. And what I have found over, not only being in real estate for over 20 years, but coaching a lot of the top agents in the country and just being around other coaches too, right? Just being around a lot of people is these business plans, they're really nice to have. And I look at them and they do break down a lot of the numbers and the things that we need. And we do that too. We work through the business tracker and knowing how many appointments we need. And we know how to put that on a dashboard so we can track it weekly and measure it. Dating your business is what I call it. Having a date night with your scoreboard, looking at what you did last week and what you did this week and how you're going to improve that, and looking at your business plan and your 411. We're going to talk about that today. But some of these business plans are so big and they're so complex that they're hard to implement in your business, right? So, I don't know if you guys have ever read a book called The One Thing. The One Thing is by an author, Gary Keller. Even though he's with Keller Williams, The One Thing was kind of written, for businesses. Okay, that's where this came from. And to be honest with you, he didn't come up with this. The godfather of all business coaches, Stephen Covey, is the guy that came up with this concept. And that's where I learned it prior to the one thing. So I've been doing this for a long time. And when you simplify things, especially as a real estate team leader, when you simplify things, it makes your team a little bit more united with you. You know, they don't like complicated things. Leaders simplify. All right. And the 1-3-5 business plan is one sheet of paper, right? It has one goal, 3 focus areas, 5 tasks. I'm going to show you what it looks like here in a second. If you take that and you take that along with a tool called the 4-1-1, which is 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, right? You take both of those tools, you're more likely to implement the items that are on that 1-3-5 throughout the year. A lot of people do a 1-3-5. I had this mistake happen. They'll do a 1-3-5 and they'll get it all done in the first week of January. Like, how much thought did you put into that one, right? It's designed to help you move your agenda throughout the year for growth. It's about growth. It's not about production so much. It's about growth, right? There's things that you're sitting there right now wanting to do. Gosh, I mean, look, if you saw my to-do list, my brain dumps and things of what I want to do, that's what you should do throughout the week, throughout this year, 2024. Start keeping a journal. I call it a brain dump. Mine's in my Apple Notes. And whenever I get a thought, I'll put it in that Apple Note, Then I'll review it for this 1-3-5 and thinking, oh yeah, maybe I do need to start, posting a reel every day about something that I'm talking with my clients about. And this is what I'm doing right now, basically. And on my social media, or maybe I need to optimize my YouTube channel, whatever that might be. These are thoughts that are in your head. And so instead of stopping everything you're doing and shiny object, I went to a seminar and got to do that. Stop, right? The 1-3-5 is your gatekeeper. If it's not on that 1-3-5, it really needs to go into a brain dump and wait for next year. Or we look at the 1-3-5, since we look at it every single week, right? We're going to look at that and we're going to think, man, maybe I should take this and change this. Maybe I don't need to do this. I thought it was important in right around Thanksgiving, November with that Brad guy, but now I'm sitting here in March. I don't know if it's important anymore, but I love this tool. See how I threw that in like that? Okay. So I'm going to run you through what this actually means. And I have a sample of a real estate team. This is a real estate team. I copied theirs. I get their permission. They're a very large team. This was actually developed maybe about 5 years ago. I think they're way in about 250 million this year, 250 million, right? This is back when they did 50 million, but I thought it was a good little sample of a real estate team's 1-3-5. And I'll show you how that looks so you can create it yourself. And I gave you a sample as well. So let me jump in the material now that you kind of have a background of what a 1-3-5 is. And this is what it looks like. So, last week we talked about the ICC business tracker or the economic model or wherever you want to talk it, but we came up with a goal of how many units we want to do and how much volume we want to make. It's a very specific goal. $50 million in annual sales volume in the year 2024 is pretty specific. And when I'm working with real estate teams, I like to use volume, not commission. There's a reason for that. I don't want I've had problems when we're doing team meetings and we see commission dollars up there all the time, and they look to see about their splits and how much money you're making, and the low producing agents that probably shouldn't be on your team have conversations with you about it. So I like to use volume. Okay. And if you're in the luxury market, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you're in the farm and ranch market, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We kind of talk volume. Okay. We don't really talk commission dollars. So volume, and it needs to be one specific goal. And as you can see, it's very specific, right? 50 million annual sales volume. Okay. Now, how this works is that's our goal. Then we have this team meeting and we say, all right, what are areas that we need to focus on? 3 areas that we need to focus on the most in order to, laser beam focus to get to that 50 million, right? And in my humble opinion, it's usually revolves around leads, listings, and leverage, right? Or, database, leads, and leverage at a real estate team's level. And it's a 50,000 foot flyover view. It's a big, broad topic, and it needs to be a broad topic, right? I don't want this as very specific, but one of the things that I asked this particular team when we we're making this is like, what kept you from hitting that goal last year? And creating an ultimate customer experience was one of them. I think that we've had conversations about going deeper in our database, not wider in our database, right? And we found out is the referral begins at hello at the first time you pick up with the lead, right? And so creating a Ritz-Carlton experience, if you will. You ever stayed at a Ritz-Carlton, you know the difference between a Ritz-Carlton and a Hampton Inn. Nothing wrong with the Hampton Inn. I'm going to stay in one tonight, but they're awesome. But a Ritz-Carlton, trust me, is a totally, completely different experience. So you got to look at that, right? This one particular one is lead generation. They didn't think that they were tracking very well. They didn't think that they were converting very well. They think that there needed to be more accountability between the leads and the lead tracking. So that's what they focused on. And then also they need more agents. So a lot of times, especially in this economy we have right now in Canada and in the United States and even Mexico, in order to grow through this market that we're in, we have to grow, right? It's about growth and working harder, And that means agent count. The number one driver of your revenue is growing your team and agents. So bringing new agents on, talented agents, whether that's in the admin side of things or the sales sides of things, it helps you grow to help balance out anything that's wrong in the economy. It's not cutting your expenses. Cutting your expenses might be part of it. But really the answer is I just need to sell more real estate. And it's hard for one person to do that. So we need to bring on the people. And when you're thinking about a team, that's obviously bring on new team members. So this is how this rolls. So you have this 1, 2, 3 focus areas. Then now we get a little bit more specific, right? So the questions I ask is, hey, what are we not doing that if we started doing that, we can increase our customer service to be a Ritz-Carlton experience? That was the question, right? So we take all these ideas that people are yelling out at the team meeting and we start writing them on the board, right? We write them on a whiteboard. We look at them and we dissect them and we talk about it. We get very specific, right? And then now we look at this and say, you know what? One thing we don't have is a 120-day follow-up plan with our clients after they close, suggesting vendors for improvements, asking for referrals, seeing if they like the home. Hey, how's that neighbor's dog? Do we need to get some antifreeze out there for a client gift? What are we doing here? Right. So that's what that means. Like that's an example. One of the other things was increasing their online presence, getting a seller's website, a buyer website, a neighborhood farm website, and a blog website. One of these was, their touch plans to their database was meh. I mean, it was okay, but we think it needed to be a lot more improved. A lot more valuable pieces needed to go out, right? They also wanted to think that we need to do a client appreciation event. They also thought we needed to grow a vendor's database. So you kind of get the point, but you see how detailed these are down here. They're a lot more detailed than just saying growing your vendor database, right? Growing your vendor database is pretty broad. Growing your vendor database, contact it regular, a vendor and appreciation party, creating a vendors list and a web page, referring to them systematically, right? Now I've got things I can track. Same kind of thing. Locate 2 new sales agents adjacent to geographic locations to expand and service new areas. That's pretty damn specific, right? Hiring an inside sales agent, ISA, to determine compensation schedule, job duty, blah, 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 blah. See how this works? Okay. And so when you have a 1-3-5 plan like this, and you're looking at it every single week, you're moving your agenda forward. But now do you understand what I'm talking about? Conducting group lead generation session Monday through Friday for 2 hours for all sales agents, meet at 8:30 for role playing practice, blah, 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 right? Yeah, we could start that in January, but I got to also keep doing it every week. I said that was part of our plan. You know, let's say that this here increasing online presence with 14 websites. I can't do that in the first week of January. I can, but what do it look like to do a seller website in the quarter one, a buyer website in quarter two, a neighborhood farm website in quarter three, a blog on quarter four, right? Now I'm taking little chunks and I'm moving that forward each and every week to make it manageable for me so I can also sell real estate as well. Now, there's a tool that goes along with this, and I call it the 411, right? And the 411 is also, again, from Stephen Covey. It's also in the One Thing. And if you ever want to know a little bit more about that, go to the One Thing. That's it's a great resource for people. It does not matter what real estate brokerage you are with, because like I said, it's for businesses. It's a business podcast. It's a business vibe. It's not real estate, but we do use it in real estate a lot. And as an example, you put your annual goals up here, and I would put up here I'd put my transaction goals up there. I would put my something under leads, right? Maybe how many leads I needed to create. I might put how many listings I needed, how many people I needed to bring on the team, because all of these things on our 135 is around leads, listings, and leverage, right? Leads, listings, and leverage is all that. And so I want to make sure that that's on my 411 too, right? So let's say on this one here, selling 45 transactions, my annual goal, right? Well, all right. Well, I need to say, okay, if I need to sell 45 transactions in a year, that means I got to sell 4 months. So I might put down here, hey, sell, 4 houses this month, right? That's my monthly goal. And now I go down here and I'll say, sell 1 house this week. See how that works? So it goes from annual to monthly to weekly. And you do that for everything. Kind of like on the seller website, for instance, right? Hey, one of my annual goals is to have a seller website. Okay. So my monthly goal here on number 4 might be to research other research companies that can provide this, right? And maybe this week's goal, maybe I pick out 4, or say I want 4 of them. And maybe this week's goal is I want to check out luxury presence demo. See what I mean? Now that luxury presence demo is my weekly goal. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to get that into my schedule. And now it is a part of me. It's not about selling real estate. It's about following a plan, a schedule. Now that luxury presence demo is going to be in my schedule. Now I can move that forward, right? Now I can have that done. Check. Next week, I might do another demo. Check. Next week, I might do another demo. Check. So at the end of the month, I have all 4 of them researched. Then I can check that off the box, right? And then I can check that, and then I'll come up here and I can check this off the box at the end of the next month, or maybe next month. Now that I've researched all of them, I pick one, I start to implement it, whatever that might be. But you see how that keeps you on track. This helps you put things into your schedule to start making things exist. And I do the same thing on the personal side of things too. I think that we talk a lot about on a lot of these coaches and things like that. And even me too, we do tend to do a little bit more professional. That's what you hired us for. But when we start looking at all of us, right, as a group, we need to really think about our personal life too. And I think it's really, really important. And I use a little tool called this life wheel balance. And this is also part of the One Thing that's in that book as well. Something very similar. There's a lot of ways this life wheel balance comes into back, but there's a lot of things in your life that you need to think about: your spirituality, your health, your social, your development, your recreation, your family, your life planning. Lots of things that you would want to rank yourself on, like rank yourself on a scale of 0 to 10 with your health, your fitness, your nutrition, your stress reduction. One of my big goals, and I'm putting on my 135. I'm getting a little older these days, and even though I play a lot of golf and I'm very active. I hike all the time. I exercise probably 5-6 days a week. One of the things that I want to do is get a little bit more mobile, right? So for instance, it's like on my 135 is I want on my 411 actually, I'll put over here. Let me give you an example how this would work. I want to have more mobility. One of my goals is I want to be able to touch. I want to be able to touch my feet while I am sitting on the floor with my head touching my knees. Okay. You might laugh, but hey, that's one of my goals. You know, when you stretch and you do that a lot, you'll be a lot more mobile. You won't hurt. You won't like, you know, do that stuff when you're picking up something heavy or a cooler or something in the garage. So one of my monthly goals is research how to do that. Right. So what I found out just kind of starting this is there was a company out there called Stretch Lab. So I signed up for Stretch Lab. Right. And this week I'm going to go to Stretch Lab and try them out for a session and see what they do. See how that all works out. And now it went into my schedule. So my brain went from here into my schedule. There's lots of things how you can use this 411. You know, one of the things I've been talking about today, in fact, I put a little blurb out there on a reel. It's about dating your money, right? I think you should date our money and we should date our 135, our business plan every single week. What I mean by that is for all the guys in this room, and girls for that matter too, I'm sure if you have a significant other, or if you don't have a significant other, maybe you might have a dating deal, right? Like I went on a date last night with a friend of mine. Hey, I'll meet you at 7:00 at Haywire in Plano, right? I was going to be there. Come hell or high water, trust me, I'm going to be there at 7:00. If I wasn't there, she'd probably never talk to me again. 120% chance, right? 10 out of 10. My butt's going to be in that chair at 7. If I stood her up or if I didn't do that, the relationship would be gone, right? So think about your 135 and think about your money. Think about your money is the same way. You know, if you look and you review your cash flow, what's coming in and what's going out and what you keep every single week. If you look at your 135 and your 411 and your tracking systems every single week, and you put the same amount of intensity into it as a date night, or say, you know, you got to pick up your kids from school at 3:00. You're just not going to do it, right? Maybe you have to call a friend every now and then, but it's going to happen. You just don't leave them there, right? So that's the same kind of concept. You have a $5 million listing appointment, your butt's going to be there. I 100% guarantee it. But if I tell you to say, hey, I want you to go look and look at your budget on your personal side of things and look at your budget on your business side of things, and hey, make sure that you do your 411 every single week. It's like putting a poncho over a 5-year-old's Halloween costume. It just doesn't work. You're going to have it's something that you just don't do. And it's just insane to me. And a lot of people are like, how can I fix my business? This would be one. Number one, have the discipline to review your 135, build a 135, work on your 411, work on your scoreboard, work on your tracking. And if we can measure some numbers here, and if we can measure these key point indicators in your business, we can improve them. And that's growing, that's growth. And that's what we really need to be thinking about this year of 2024. So that's all I have for today. We'll let Conversion Monster kind of sign us out. We won't have a call next week. It's Thanksgiving here for the United States here, for all the Canadian people, the people to your south, and all the Mexican people were up on the north. So in the middle of the United States, we have Thanksgiving next year. So we won't have a call. I'm going to be watching the Cowboys win, and hope you all have a great holiday, and I'll see you the week after Thanksgiving. Okay. And we'll kind of wrap this up the next couple of weeks. I'll let Conversion Monster take it from here.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, guys.
Thanks everybody for coming today. If it's your first time, I'm Dennis Guerin, Director of Client Success. I have talked about asking existing clients to set up a strategy meeting with me. And I don't think I've given a good idea of what we would what we would cover in this meeting. And I just wanted to show you something that I think would be helpful. If everybody can see my screen, I want to show you what we're working on right now to make sure that you are succeeding as a client success. Ooh, something happened there. My bad. Wait, is everybody seeing my screen right now? I'm not sure which screen you're seeing. You see client health score distribution. Get a thumbs up from somebody out here. Okay. Hold on a second. What's going on here? I'm sorry, folks. Let's do this again. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, so if you look at this chart here, this kind of goes over everything we're tracking for you, your health categories. It's very important to us that we are all on the same page with this, and everything listed here is something that we work on together. This isn't about you, this is about us. Success in this program ensures that we are collaborating and working together. So your overall health score would be 100%, and that's adding up all of these different categories. Number one is ROI health. We want to make sure that you folks are absolutely making money from what we are doing for you. So that's why that's at the top, but we don't necessarily know that information. So communicating with us about what you're bringing in terms of closing deals is really important, and you can get 25% of health score from that. Lead volume health obviously is really important, because as you send leads to us, you should be sending at least the same amount every month, if not more, because we know based on the data across the board that our clients that succeed the most are sending the same amount or more on a monthly basis. That's not a money grab for us. Yes, we're here to make money, but the data is the data. Keeping it the same or increasing your lead volume is the best way to succeed with us. Opportunity health is really important too. How many leads are we sending over to you that are hot? That's a big share of it. And then next is live transfer or appointment health. When we send over a hot lead to you folks, we want to make sure that that's getting to a live person. And that's a huge part of success in terms of handing over those leads to you and you guys turning them, making the best or the most out of them. If your team is answering the phone every time it comes in, the better chance of you keeping that client, getting them to a deal, and having a relationship with them over the years is tremendously increased. Whereas opposed to appointments, if you make appointments instead of talking to that person live, so that is a huge part of success for you guys. And that's something we like to work with you on to make sure that's happening in your side. Nurture health are all the leads that are not coming over to you yet because the leads are not ready. And that is a huge thing, because when you combine the opportunity health and the nurture health, that really gives you a really clear picture of what's coming in the future. And we know that most leads are 6 to 12 months out. So we need to make sure that we're always considering the future and always feeding our lead bank to ensure that we have a future. And like leads that you're putting in the leads that you're sending over to us now, they're not going to be really showing any results for 6 to 12 months. So it's really important that you're always feeding that nurture bank. And then the other three areas are billing health. Are you paying us on time? Strategic health. Are you meeting with us and talking to us about your needs and understanding what we're doing for you and whether or not you attended orientation? So I just wanted to give you an idea of what kind of support we're here to do with you, the kind of coaching and kind of guidance we're here for you is here for you from us. And I also just want to share my link so that you can set up a strategy meeting with me so we can dive into how this looks for you as a client. That's all I've got. And thank you all for attending today. And like Brad said, have a happy Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. And if you're not, or Canada, sorry, we didn't say it last month. All right, guys, have a great week. Thanks so much.